My background is in photography and photojournalism, I guess as I was working as a photographer and a photojournalist, I was kind of constantly inspired by the people that I met, but maybe became a little bit frustrated about the sort of mechanisms of the media and how it works and how my pictures were being used and the context that they were being put into, and also the way the subjects of my pictures were maybe being represented through the sort of editorial decisions of the people that were publishing the work. Through all my meetings with my subjects, I was always so inspired by how articulate they were, and how brilliant they were at telling their own stories. So I sort of started to think about how I could make projects that would maybe allow these people to speak for themselves, and how I could kind of provide a platform and the training for them to do that. And then the project that I'm showing here today is Open Shutters Iraq, and it's a project that we made over many years now, made by photographs and text made by a group of Iraqi women from 5 different cities in 2007, about their experiences, about their lives, and also about their experiences of the invasion and occupation of Iraq. I think 2 years ago, Karen got in touch with me. Karen's a curator at the gallery here, and I think she had been at a talk where someone had shown some of the work from Open Shutters, and she got in touch with me to ask if I'd like to do an exhibition of the Iraqi project here in Belfast. And I really jumped at the opportunity because it's somewhere that, when I was thinking, where would we like to show this work, I thought it would be a really important place to show it, because I hoped, and it did remarkably, I hoped that it would resonate with people here and their experiences of the conflict here in Northern Ireland. And so we had the exhibition here at the beginning of the summer, and we had a series of film screenings and workshops related to the exhibition and the work of Open Shutters, and then I kept coming back, and Mervyn very kindly and generously sort of showed me a little bit around Belfast, so I'm hoping now that we can extend that working relationship, and maybe I can make a new project here in Belfast with Belfast Exposed. This morning's session was really inspirational, actually. For so many years I was sort of just on my own. I wasn't living in London for, 12 or 13 years, and so I found that I was kind of developing my practice and what I was doing very much alone, and not really in dialogue with other artists and other practitioners who were doing similar work. So it's really nice to be around other people, hearing about their experiences and their work. And that's a kind of a general comment for Belfast, really. I think it's a really interesting place in terms of there being a really strong connection between art and culture and resistance, and there's a really clear understanding with the people that I've met, of the value of art and photography. Here in terms of documenting what's going on in the history. I think this morning was particularly interesting. I think it was really interesting because there's 3 very different artistic practices and 3 very different approaches, but with enormous synergy in the sense of the idea that this work is urgent, that it's critical, that it needs to be made, that there needs to be platforms and facilitation for people from Northern Ireland, or indeed wherever they come from, to be telling their own stories and own their own stories. I think the quality of the work that was being shown this morning was extraordinary, and the dialogue that followed. It was really interesting. It's really nice not to be kind of just alone in the field, working and engage with other people and hear about the different approaches and ways to make this sort of work. There's no right, or there's not one way to make this sort of work. But in actual fact, the beauty and the richness is from these very different approaches. but with a very clear kind of politics and understanding of what that should, what it should be.